All right.
Now you can hear.
I just turned it off. Hopefully it will kick back off. It takes a second to wind down. I'm going to go ahead and call this council meeting to order. The time is now 6:02. Let's start with roll call. Pamela Brown, Council President.
Henry Beagle, Council.
Stacy Wilson.
Forrest Markwood.
All right. And I've got the agenda here highlighted in orange. And I've got the minutes. We'll move to the minutes next. We need to approve both the October and the November minutes. And I sent these to you ahead of time, but I do have the November meeting minutes. We'll start with those first. Those are highlighted with pink at the top. So I'll give you a moment to read those over. And when you're ready, I'll open it up for a motion to approve. And again, we'll just start with the November minutes first, which are the stapled highlighted in pink. So don't worry about the second one. We'll get to those after we do the November meeting minutes.
Would you like much soup?
I motion to approve the minutes.
All right, I hear a motion. Do I hear a second? Second. Are there any comments on it before we take a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, let the minutes show that the November 2025 meeting minutes are approved as presented. Next, we'll take a look at the October minutes.
She used to be a middle school teacher.
And once you're ready, I'll look for a motion.
Yeah, I motion to second it.
A motion to pass the minutes by Stacy.
Good, second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Let the minutes show that the October 2025 minutes are approved as presented. Next on the agenda is the schoolhouse lease. I'd like to make a motion to move that to the bottom of the agenda as we're waiting on a guest who's not yet arrived. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, the minutes will show that the schoolhouse lease will be visited at the end of this agenda. All right, next up is the city recorder position, although we need to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Excuse my mistake. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Good call.
Moving forward to the city recorder, which was declared vacant at the last meeting, a series of applications were presented at the City Hall to grab with a 30-day application period, with applications due on December 5th. I received in the box one application by the deadline. I did just receive another application 1 moment ago by email. The application that was put in was for Sarah Finkel, who I do have on Zoom here, and with your permission, I would ask her to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. It's nice to meet you all via Zoom. Pam reached out to me about this position, and it sounded super interesting. I work now in I've worked some policy jobs in DC, and I'm super interested in, running those kinds of governments and local policy implementation. And so I'm super eager to see how things are running on the ground, and would love to be a part of it as much as possible. So hopefully, this is a cool way for me to see how these things touch down in communities like Shaniko. So I'm from California, love the West Coast, have lived in kind of a range of places, but would be thrilled to be a part of this team. So yeah.
Thank you. Whoops, where?
She works in Washington, D.C. She's had some policy jobs, and she works in government and has some experience there. She's interested in seeing how the boots on the ground, kind of the small town politics works.
Thank you.
With that, the next order is an appointment. Is there a motion to appoint? I'm going to go ahead and make that motion to appoint Sarah Finkel as the city recorder, which would go through the end of the November 2026 term. Is there a second?
I'd second that.
Is there any discussion before we vote? Any questions or things from counselors that you want to chat about?
The other application was late, but I was thinking that, as far as, is there any way that we could have kind of somebody that would be here, and that would be, Joanne. And Sarah, is that your name? Would you be interested in that? In kind of tackling the job together with a local?
Yeah, I'd love to if you think that would help me be more effective, because I'm
Yeah, well,
not to
it
be
sounds
there.
to me like you have a lot to offer as far as like teaching some things, and you're very good with computer stuff and all that. And I just think it would be really beneficial to have both of you actually.
I kind of like that idea, especially with the thought that Sarah, you would be filling in to the end of this term, but then afterward, we'll probably be moving on and having that election process. So it might make sense to do sort of a collab where you could work together and sort of get Joanne up to speed, since she's interested in doing it long term.
That sounds fantastic.
Awesome.
I don't know if we have Joanne on here. That's Joanne here,
Ben's wife.
Ben Harleman's wife.
Oh.
She just put in an application today. It's a little bit past the deadline, but we definitely want to make sure that our community members are set up for making Shaniko finances stable going forward.
So that would, my question was going to be, that means she'd be working here, as a recorder remotely.
Sarah would be working remotely, and then Joanne would be
Here.
interfacing together. So with that, there was a motion, there was a second. Is there
I'd like to make a motion that we use them both.
Yeah.
I like that. Let me revise that motion.
I just have one question. Since the city recorder is the actual elections official for the city and it is an elected position, do we need to designate someone specifically for that?
It will have to be, that's a good question.
I just wonder with like the co-working thing, I'm not sure how that works. I don't know.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Might be a question for the county clerk, perhaps.
That's a good one. County clerk. Let's keep talking about this. What I'm thinking is to perhaps go with the revised motion that Sarah would be the main recorder, the point of contact for doing all the admin stuff, interfacing with the county clerk. With Joanne, once we talk to the county clerk, if they allow two people, then we can talk next meeting about how to integrate that together. But I do think there will probably have to be one person to tackle, be that sort of point
Gotcha.
of contact.
Yeah.
So with that, Stacy, will you restate your motion for me, please?
I just motion that we use both of them as seems fit.
Yep.
I like
Whichever
that.
is best. And you know, the recorder has to make all the deposits and all that stuff, and it'd be hard for her to do
Right.
being so far away. So I think Joanne and her would work good together. But
Yeah.
it's up to them.
That sounds good.
I'll second.
Sarah, would you be willing to be that point of contact for the admin stuff? And then having Joanne do some of the boots on the ground stuff, interacting and taking the deposits in?
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Having the point
does.
of contact. All right, so let me reframe the motion just to make it super clean, but I'm gonna try to repeat what
No,
you
go
said.
ahead.
That the motion is to appoint Sarah Finkel as point person, city recorder, with Joanne here working closely together on the same level.
Yep.
So that was a wordy motion, but is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Andrea seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. The motion passes. And again, do you know if Joanne's on this call?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
perfect.
okay. I don't know how to change that number thing. This is Ben. Joanne's here with me. I don't know how to make that say my name. I tried to figure it out, but yeah, we're both here.
Joanne, I didn't realize you were on. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, hi. It's Joanne Harleman here. I don't know. I'm happy to do whatever I can for the city. This is kind of a different situation where you have two city recorders, so I don't know how to go about. I guess we can discuss the like separate duties for the city recorder.
That makes sense. I think what I'll likely do after this meeting is exchange numbers and give you Sarah's number and vice versa, and have you guys chat about what makes the most sense going forward for that separation and collaboration of duties. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So I want to chime in real quick, just for the sake of fairness, for Joanne. We were actually trying to be in communication for about a week, but there was phone problems apparently on that end, and we were also told that as long as it was in by 5 o'clock today, and we didn't get to chat about it until this afternoon, so we didn't see it as late. We were just waiting to get responses, and I have text messages, that show that, and so yeah, that was why it happened today. We don't consider it as being late, but just as we could finally get the information.
I got it. Thank you for clarifying that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But as the vote's already gone through, we've got our collaboration set up. So what I would like to do is I'll go through the oath of office and I'll just have each of you repeat back to me. We'll start with Sarah. Sarah, if you will repeat after me. I, Sarah Finkel,
I, Sarah Finkel,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Oregon,
that I support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Oregon,
and the charter, ordinances, and rules and procedures for the city of Shaniko,
and the charter, ordinances, and rules of procedures for the city of Shaniko,
and that I will faithfully and honorably perform the duties
and that I will faithfully and honorably perform the duties
of the office for which I am about to assume.
of the office for which I am about to assume.
And Joanne, I'll have you do the same thing here.
Okay.
I, Joanne Harleman, do solemnly swear and affirm
I, Joanne Harleman, do solemnly swear and affirm
that I support the Constitution
that I support the Constitution
and laws of the United States and the state of Oregon,
and laws of the United States and the state of Oregon,
and the charter, ordinances, and rules
and the charter, ordinances, and rules
and procedures for the city of Shaniko,
and procedures for the city of Shaniko,
and that I will faithfully and honorably perform
and that I will faithfully and honorably perform
the duties of the office for which I am about to assume.
the duties of the office
What I'm about to.
that I'm about to resume.
Thank you, thank you. All right, fantastic. Let's move forward to the financial report, which is the horizontal sheet. I didn't print enough of these, my apologies, but I'll read them aloud so that way we can fill everybody in. What I did here, given that I haven't quite had time to break down into the funds of how much is in each fund, so this is an overview at the top stating what company we owe, along with the minimum and due date. And then at the very bottom, you can see the total in the city account as of today. So as you look over that, I'll summarize a couple things for you. I ran down and made a deposit today. These items are not on your sheet, but as you look, I'll just tell you a little bit about the deposit. There was $68 deposited from the bathroom donation box, $165 from the fire donation box, and then for resident water and garbage bills, there was $12,076 that were deposited in the account today. So these numbers are reflected in that total at the very bottom. The total in the main city account is $4,506. And above that, like I said, there's a company breakdown of what is due. The CIS insurance, we've got a minimum payment that's just a little bit past due of $17,003. That's a non-negotiable that we'll need to pay to maintain insurance. Next up is mattress sanitary. That'll be due at the end of the month for $600. It's $200 to rent the dumpster, and then every time we swap it out, it's $400. So that gives you an idea of where the $600 is coming from. OHA is the Oregon Health Authority. These are the people that we pay so we can maintain our small water system. They wrote me a note that this hasn't been paid in 2 years. So the total due is $400, which is $200 per year. They agreed to waive the late fees that had accrued over the past couple years of non-payment. So we'll need to make that payment. The Wasco Electric comes to a total of $606. You can see a breakdown out to the right. The highest account is the City Hall building at $191 of that big electric bill. And I think part of it was keeping the heat on. The lowest it goes is 50 degrees. So we'll likely turn that off between meetings so we can get that bill a little bit lower than it is now. With the schoolhouse, the lowest at $66 for this month for the electric. So that's a little bit about the breakdown for Wasco Electric. And then reading below, the SAM.gov, I'm not sure if we've talked about this much before, but the SAM is a government account that allows you to apply for and receive federal grants. And so as we're in the middle of this Business Oregon Water Grant, we need to have this SAM account, which allows us to apply for and receive federal funding.
You have to pay to put in grants?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, in the big scheme of things, this $599 is the annual amount that's due. It is high, but if it helps soften the blow, the water grant that we have is $126,000.
Okay.
So this $600 is kind of the gateway to get that money. And especially with the idea that we're going to be going into the water grant, we'll apply for the implementation part of that, which will be about $400,000 that we would receive. So kind of spells out a little bit. We're spending 600 to get a lot more money. The Box R Water Lab, there's no invoice on that. The Abyss Well, I suggest putting this off for another month given the city balance. It's a bill that started in 2024. We've been paying off slowly. The total of all the bills I read off, eliminating that Abyss Well with the minimum payment of 500, which I'll reach out to them and let them know what's going on. The total in bills that we would request to be paying is $4,037.87. Is there a motion to pay the recommended bills and leave out Abyss Well?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion or questions from council about the bills before we vote on this? You were the second, right, Stacy?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Let the minutes show that we've approved the recommended bills at the total of $4,037.87. Okay. Next up, for the water report, the reservoir levels have been sitting at a really healthy amount at 8 foot 5 inches on average, and that's where it sits right now. The Box R comes and they test the chlorination and the for E. coli and dangerous things like that, the coliform. They tested earlier this week. There are no issues with that. And then the last bit on here, I have the signature card for the water grant. I'll chat with you guys afterward. Basically, since there was a turnover in personnel, I just have to get new signatures so the grant money can come through. So rather than having Deb Holbrook sign on that, we'll excuse me, remove her and then add the other counselors as well.
Okay.
New business. There's an issue with the city mailbox, and we're gonna look into that. For the time being, I'm gonna ask that residents will stick their payments into the slot of City Hall rather than mailing while we get this issue sorted out.
We're gonna let everybody know. How are we gonna let everybody know?
I'm gonna, I'll have one of the recorders put together, and we'll probably mail out so that way everybody who may not have access to a cell phone or email knows exactly what to expect with that. That was a little bit more of an announcement, but are there any pertinent questions on that? More information to come soon. Okay. Next item of new business is to declare the vacancy of the mayor. Sharon Kintry did put in her resignation, so we're just going to officially here, I make a motion to accept Mayor Kintry's resignation. Do I hear a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Let the minutes show that the mayor's resignation is accepted. With this, we will open up an application period for anybody who would like to be mayor of Shaniko. I'll tomorrow have up applications available on the outside of City Hall here that you can grab, and you can either slip them into the mail slot of City Hall building or email them to shanikorecorder@gmail.com. And we'll start with 30 days,
Yeah.
unless are we okay with 30 days like it's been done? Perfect. So with that, we'll accept applications through, let me just look at what the next meeting is. January 12 is the next meeting, so we'll do exactly 30 days and accept applications through January 8th for the mayor position. And as a reminder, the mayor has to be a registered voter in Wasco County and the city of Shaniko. I'm just making a note about the date. Okay, next up on to old business. At the most recent workshop, we talked about the backhoe policies and procedures, and I'm bringing them back up here to see what we want to do as far as those are concerned. And just as a little recap, just as a recap, we said that there was going to be a fee per day, and that would be due within 30 days of the rental. We said in order to check out the city backhoe, that you'll put in a request with City Hall. It can go through the slot. It can go to shanikorecorder.com. Excuse me, shanikorecorder@gmail.com. Or it can go to shanikofirechief@gmail.com. So that way those requests, you can put them in a couple days ahead of time and get them approved between council meetings. So we'll designate these couple people to be able to allow access to the city hall. Forrest, am I missing anything?
We'll have an actual written application that every applicant will need to fill out. There will be a policies and procedures page that's included, and there will be a release of liability form that everybody needs to sign. But other than that, $25 a day and follow the rules, and you can rent the tractor.
Is it running good or? I just,
Yeah, we just changed the oil on it. Starts right up.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean it's old, but it runs.
Yeah, it runs.
Yeah.
Forrest has been keeping a maintenance log on it, so we'll continue to check after it comes back and make sure that everything's in order. But ultimately, we do want this to be accessible for people in Shaniko to use. That's what it's for. That's what it was meant for. And then for a fair price, we'll, keep the maintenance going on it. Is there a motion to accept and implement the backhoe policy and procedures?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Let the minutes show that we will be adopting the backhoe policy and procedures. As a note, these procedures, the application, as well as the mayor application will all be posted out here, of course, but also on the city website, which is cityofshanico.org. Yeah. Just making sure it's .org and not .com. Okay, the last element that we moved to the bottom was that schoolhouse lease, which I do have printed up for your review here. And these are the terms that we discussed. They were presented by Greg Greenway of Shaniko Music Sanctuary in the last meeting with time to review. So I'll give you a moment to look that over and then we can discuss.
Okay, an extra copy.
Yes.
There's only one. Take the chair.
Are we ready?
Thank you.
I have a question about section 5, maintenance and operating expenses. So the maintenance of the building, for instance, CapEx, taking care of the exterior, taking care of that kind of stuff, that will be on the lease, not the city.
That's correct. as will the utility bills as well.
That'll help.
I forgot the engine braking. We'll come back to that.
So the only thing I have is $5,000 for 5 years isn't very much. It's less than $90 a month, and I don't know. I'd rent it for that much almost.
You want to rent it?
Yeah, almost for $90 a month.
Well, except for the fact that they're gonna do improvements that we can't pay for. They're also
Yeah.
going to, if given notice, anybody can use it.
If they're not using it at the time,
Yes, yeah. So,
I think the big
and a
thing,
30-day notice.
I think the big thing there is taking care of the place. I mean, when's the last time there's been anything improved over there?
Not since I moved here.
Yeah, not since I moved here either. How many times has it been rented in the past 5 years?
In the past year, it was rented once for a weekend.
And what was the cost on that rental?
It was between $50 and $75 total.
what about Susan?
I talked with Susan. I told her that nothing will change
Okay,
with her. She'll remain.
should that be in here?
Your minutes say 5,000 annually in advance.
She's actually right. The minutes do say that.
There's a mistake on that. It was
Thank you
5,000.
for pointing that out.
Thank you. I'm gonna go back and revise those minutes to reflect that. Calculating in the electric bill, which is on average $70 per month, that would be $70 less that the city has to pay. That adds up to about $800 per year that the city won't have to be paying on electric. And additionally, that would, if you add that in, it's about $160 per month. That the Shaniko Music Sanctuary would be paying, in addition to a water fee because there is a restroom there. So if you're looking at commercial water, well, that's not a lease amount. That is money that will be coming into the city as well.
And if they have events there and stuff, it brings people to town.
Are they gonna be up there in the middle of winter,
What's that?
like January and February, and are they gonna be here?
I think the first event will probably be in the spring because it's so cold. So
Yeah, it's so cold.
yeah. But with the idea that anybody for city events can use it for free, we're certainly welcome to do that in the winter months.
And the vehicles behind it are still belong to the city.
Oh yeah.
I agree with Stacy. I think the rental amount's a little low. My personal opinion. But that's just being honest.
Sure.
Although the last time it's been used is one time in an entire year.
True.
So I guess that's also a consideration.
I was gonna do some math with the proposed amount plus electric plus monthly water comes out to $203 per month. So I guess that's more of a raw number, kind of an all-inclusive,
Yeah, it's the net gain, right?
right?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's like, you know, we don't have to pay the electric on it. We can use it anyway. They're gonna make improvements to the building. Fix the bathroom, which would be fantastic. So, and it's one more thing not to have to worry about, because it needs a new roof. I mean,
Needs a lot of things.
Yeah.
Were there any other competing bids? No.
Want to make a motion to accept this lease agreement?
All right, there is a motion on the table. Is there a second? I'd like to make a second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. 2 opposed. Okay. Well, we're at a standstill now. We don't have the tie
Don't have
break.
the tie break.
Right.
Need a mayor.
Okay. Well, we
Can
will.
we table that for next meeting?
Yeah, let's table that. Okay. From there, we will move. Excuse me. We need to talk about the engine braking. Forrest, would you lead the discussion on that, please?
So as we talked about in our workshop earlier, I think it might be a good idea to propose a new city ordinance that would, hopefully entice ODOT to slow down the speed limit on Highway 97 down to 25. In the last 3 years, I've seen 3 different semi-wrecks in that same exact corner, and now with a case of what we'll call limited visibility, I think that would be something important. The other thing is Oregon Revised Statute 811-492 outlaws the use of unmuffled engine brakes within city limits. Every incorporated city that I've been to, driven through, there's a sign right out front going both ways, no engine brakes. There is not one here. They're loud, they're obnoxious. I think they're kind of unnecessary unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, that's fine. But obviously, they're just kind of a nuisance, really. So I'd like to propose an ordinance to essentially prohibit engine braking within city limits. And we could petition ODOT to put up a sign on the highways going both directions. That sign will comply with Oregon Revised Statute 810-214, which is the same sign that's everywhere statewide.
It is obnoxious.
It's just, it's unnecessary. It's just because we're out in the middle of nowhere. They would never do that in Redmond or Madras.
Right.
So
I like all the ideas, but who's willing to enforce it? Is what I'm.
well, that would be the Highway Patrol, state police. That's their jurisdiction. To answer your question, frankly, nobody's gonna enforce it, but
Yeah,
at least the sign will be up, and maybe that'll slightly do something. I don't know. I know if you get caught, it's like a $6,000 fine.
So do we need to make an ordinance for that, or do we just need to?
I don't know if we
Petition
do or
about
not.
for signs,
I'm
or-
just bringing it up as it seems obnoxious. State law says it's illegal.
Maybe we should stick up for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's unnecessary.
Hey,
Yeah, we're not-
if you guys want, I dealt with this a little bit when I was in the hotel. And I wouldn't discourage you from looking into it, but I looked into this, and what I got at the time was that there was nothing that could be done except for, I talked to the state patrol and everything. They would put in one of those orange signs that have the speed limit and say slow down as you're coming into town. But there's certain requirements to get a speed reduction. It took a while to get it down to 35 before, because it used to be 50 or 55. And it's quite a challenge to get it down lower. I'm in agreement it needs to be. But it might just be the best thing you can do is get the sign. That's what I was told when I was looking into it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've actually been talking with Dan, I think it's McClanahan, at ODOT for the district that we're in, and I need to follow up with him to see what can be done. He mentioned the same thing, Ben, that you mentioned, that it's difficult. He mentioned if he does get instruction from the top that he maybe can do something, including the sign, which I think does help. I think probably a next best course of action is for me to follow up with him before we go the ordinance route. I do know that ordinances need 3 readings. There are some stipulations, so I'll also reach out to the League of Oregon Cities to get some advice or guidance on that too before we jump the gun. It definitely is something that needs to be addressed, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think the speed limit reduction is maybe, but the engine braking thing, I mean, that's what, 4 signs? That's easy. They could do that in a day.
Yeah, and quite frankly, even if they started the speed limit slow down a little bit sooner, it would allow trucks some heads up that they need to slow down versus having to have the curve sneak up on them.
Yeah, it seems like that's the case sometimes.
Yeah. I would like to make a motion to table this for discussion at the next meeting with the caveats that I will be talking with ODOT to get some information, and I will also talk with the League of Oregon Cities, so I'll come back next meeting with some more information on that.
Okay.
Is there a second to table?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Oh yeah.
Not opposed, but in favor of tabling.
Who was the second on that?
I think I'd second it.
Thank you,
Yes,
Stacy.
same glasses, Stacy.
I
Okay.
bought these so nobody would have some that look like them.
All right. With that, let's go ahead and move to public comment. And just as a reminder, we've got public comment at 5 minutes now, up from the 2 minutes that it previously was. Is there anybody present who would like to speak?
I would like to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know where meeting notices are being published and posted, because all meetings have to be posted 48 hours in advance. And I couldn't find anything, so I just went ahead and came down to see if there was going to be a meeting, because technically it's not a legal meeting. There wasn't anything posted by 6 o'clock 48 hours ago.
Thank you.
But I don't, where are you posting?
The posting goes up on the website, and then as far as regular meetings, there doesn't need to be an actual posting because they're assumed regular meetings, but the agenda will always be on cityofshanico.org, and then any special meetings, executive sessions will be posted at that same place at cityofshanico.org, and those additionally will be posted around town since they are not regular meetings.
They aren't, it isn't required to post? My understanding is that it's printed that we had to post them 48 hours in advance for regular council meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you. I may be wrong, but I don't look on the website.
I'm not sure.
Would you like to speak?
Well, yeah, so the schoolhouse thing, I get that it needs fixed, and I get that the water pipes broke in the toilets because we didn't have heat on. So in order to keep pipes from freezing and breaking during the winter, we either have to turn the water completely off and not use it, or heat the building and heat the pipes. That's going to upgrade any, depending on who's going to take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is aren't you the Shaniko Music Sanctuary?
I'm on the board of directors, yes.
So isn't that a conflict of interest, because you are a part of the Shaniko Music Sanctuary? So you shouldn't be able to bring anything up about it. It should have been this Gregory guy. But still, that's I mean, you're a part of it. Okay. And then the last thing was year and a half ago, when we started to run out of money, I gave up the position of cleaning the bathrooms with the and it was wrote in the meeting somewhere that if it did come back open that they were going to pay, that I would be first choice because I'd already been taking care of it. With Amy and Sandy doing it, I was still helping. I helped for 8 months when nobody else was doing it. So that needs to be looked at, because if you're going to start paying somebody, I should be the first one because I was the one taking care of it.
I would love that.
So
Seems reasonable.
I mean, that was just the whole thing, and it really wasn't about the money, because you got to have toilet paper, you got to have cleaning supplies, you got to have all that stuff. And that's what
Just
the
helping
money.
out the city. That's what I'm
And it
trying
takes
to
care
do.
of the city, and then because my understanding was years ago, from November till May, maybe April, they were closed. They locked them.
Yeah.
That was my understanding. I don't know. I didn't live here, so I don't know if they did or not.
I've never been
They,
there.
yeah, they have been locked
So-
before, yeah.
So yeah, they used to lock them up for the winter because
It's very poor representation for our city to have a city bathroom that people have to come over and complain all the time because they're not clean, because there's no paper, because the water's running all over the floor, because the plumbing is not. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's all I had. That was it.
No, it's a problem.
Thank you, Sean. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yep.
I know that at the school, I had called Scott when he was here,
Uh-huh.
because he was telling everybody to quit watering their yard, and I said, well, you better look at the school, because there's like a 20-foot ring around the water pipe that's
Yeah,
outside.
green. Yeah, it's all green, and it
Yeah,
shouldn't
and
be.
she seen it last year when we turned it on, it was leaking,
Yeah, and so.
or this year.
And I don't know who the moron was that tore off the little dog house. Well, I think I know. Who
Yeah,
it
we
was.
know who did that.
We know who that moron was, but I mean, I did as much as I could in there.
Yeah.
Cleaning the books and trying to organize it.
When you go back to the schoolhouse, I would like to comment that giving a 5-year contract for $1,000 a year because they're going to do repairs and do all this stuff, I think that needs to be addressed and reviewed at the end of each year to see whether we're going in the hole or coming out at all. Because if it costs us more for the utilities than we're gonna get in a year, and they don't do anything, we're stuck.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to Zoom for public comment. Joanne and Ben, do you have anything to share?
No, just quick question. I don't know if you guys covered it regarding the school rental. So I heard when Coach mentioned there. Hey, Coach, good to see you, by the way.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah. The Shaniko Music Sanctuary would be leasing it, and I like that something would be happening, but I do agree. Now, granted, I haven't been to meetings for the last few months, so it could just be my own fault, but I would like to know more about what it is, and Sandy's statement about hi Sandy, you too. Sandy's statement about a year review, that would be a little more normal in a situation like that. But I do like the idea of something being done there and having some music and stuff going on. I think that sounds really cool. But yeah, I'd like to know more. So if that gets revisited with some more information, that'd be great. But
Indeed.
that's all. Thank you guys. Appreciate everything.
Sandy Sargino, do you have something to share?
Yes. For
Go
the
ahead.
last months, I've told you guys that I've been collecting information. So I want you to know, as a member of the Shaniko Citizens United, we are in talks with lawyers about filing a class action suit against you, Pam, and the city council for failure to maintain the water system and resulting in E. coli and all of us getting sick. So be looking out for that. Plus, I'm also going to be filing petition to recall you and Andrea for failure to do your office and your duty.
Thank you. Next up, I've got S and D on the line. Okay, maybe not. Dave Lyle, do you have something you would like to share? Make a note that you are muted. But let me
Oh, okay. Am I unmuted now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to kind of rapid fire. Number one, when Mike Small checked into reducing the speed, if we have business on the other side of the highway, which is my address of the 48800, and I have paid for a license, ODOT will reduce the speed to 25 miles an hour and put in a marked crosswalk. And if we cry and bitch enough, perhaps we can get one with the strobes. But anyway, the next point is on the school. Does that include the whole school, or is there still going to be part of it as a museum and the other half? I didn't quite understand how much of the school we were talking about. So I kind of wanted some information about that. The next thing is that our water system is working well, and so we need to start working well together. We have some instigators of giant problems, and I believe the instigators should follow the rules exactly before they cast any stone or any doubt about anything else in the city, which means moving that Texaco sign, moving the apron over the gas station, so the city becomes owner of its property, which is actually C Street. So let's just try to get along. Let's try to make an effort, and let's try and get our city to make some money. If we work forward towards finding a amenable way of getting through all this nonsense that goes on and on and on, we should be able to ask more people to join us. But as it is, the reputation of Shaniko is miserable. I go all over this state and I visit with people, and they want to know what happened with the old lady and the ice cream store and the grants. And we all know money disappeared from this city multiple times. So if there's going to be a class action lawsuit, I believe the class action lawsuit needs to include, some of the diversity and problems that we're having at this moment. Let's try to come up with a tagline for our city, a motto, and maybe some interesting events that are something we can plan out. I think the music idea is wonderful. There's nothing better for the soul than music. So let's encourage that. Furthermore, I think I would like to volunteer to put in some insulation on the second floor, which used to be the cafeteria. It definitely has a few air leaks that could be easily solved, and it needs to have a spring on the jail door so that when people are not in there, it stays closed. Then we need to speak about the restrooms. One of the most important things is during a wedding event in our town, a toilet got destroyed. Now, I don't believe it should be the city paying for a destroyed toilet when it happened from participants in a wedding. I believe that we can restructure and repair the women's restroom and possibly get a third toilet in there. That's really necessary. And about closing it during the winter, one thing all truckers have told me, it's nice to know you could stop in Shaniko and go to the restroom. So we need to encourage that. We're obviously getting paid money, and I believe that we can figure out who's going to clean it and do what when at a little later date. Let's kind of open it up for everybody to put in their 2 cents worth, and then we can move forward. So if we work ODOT with the fact that I have a business across the street that is legitimate, that might be a hook that we would be able to have a crosswalk and speed reduced in that area. I totally think that we need to move the 40-mile-an-hour sign another half mile or a mile out of town so that it stops the Jake breaks. And there's no reason we can't use an automated system like in California. If you go past it above 100 decibels, it takes your picture and sends you a bill in the mail. It's just that simple and just that quick. So those are the things I have to say tonight, and I hope that we can all start getting along and having a better city because everybody matters. And we need to use our older people that are in town as a resource because they have a lot of knowledge. All right, that's it for tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I've actually got a public comment
Okay.
in my personal capacity. This is just me as a human, not me as a city council member. I think that there has been a lot of issues in this town with division. It's like, so-and-so group of people doesn't like so-and-so group of people. And that has led to essentially all of these issues in town, or at least the vast majority of them. And unless we can grow our population, I think that we should seriously consider disincorporation. And that's my personal comment. Thank you.
All right, plenty to talk about next meeting. I would like to make that a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:58. Is there a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.